الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى.
على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون. وقال تعالى في مقام آخر وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني عملا رب زدني عملا رب زدني عملا. The Sahaba Ridwanullahi Ta'ala alayhim Ajma'een in the beginning asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that how much wealth, how much money do we give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do we have to give everything, or is there a limit for it? How much do we give? Now, what you have to understand is the Sahaba were very clear cut with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Whenever they had any kind of problems, anything they had doubt in, or any question they needed to ask, they would not go around it. They go very blunt and ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam straight away and say, "What is this? What's the meaning of this?" Now, there were some Sahabas of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who were daily in the khidmat of Rasulullah, in the service of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they knew how to talk and how to ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there were others which were known as the Bedouins. And those Bedouins were very straightforward. So some Sahaba says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this ayat, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tas'alu an asha in tubda lakum tasu'kum. This ayat is telling us, the Sahabas, that don't ask too many questions. It could be dangerous. So Sahabas got a bit resistance from asking questions. So they used to wait for the Bedouins to come so they can straight away directly ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, one of the questions the Sahabas asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, "Mada yunfiqun?" How much do we spend? How much do we give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What do we give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Qul al-afu." In the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell these Sahabas that anything which is out of your need, give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where you don't need. So, zakat is 2.5%, 40th of your wealth. But in the beginning, this wasn't the hukum. The hukum was anything you don't need, or I give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what the Sahabas were doing. Anything they did not need, or they were given in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what happened is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent this as وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَأَقْرِضُوا اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا. This ayat is a Makki ayat. It's in Surah Al-Muzammil. So Surah Al-Muzammil is a Makki surah. This means this ayat was revealed in Makkatul Mukarramah before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Madinatul Munawwarah. But when this ayat was revealed, alright, The hukum was there, the order was there. The 100% tafsir, all the idea, all the ahkam, how much to give, how much to not give, that wasn't revealed yet. The details were not revealed yet. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Madinatul Munawwara in the second Hijri, in the second year of migration, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun, siyam faraz, fasting faraz, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all the details of zakat to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the second Hijri. So all the details were given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the second Hijri, after when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the fasting of Ramadan compulsory on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on us. Now when this got compulsory, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained the rule regulation of zakat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said that give all your wealth in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the real owner of our wealth, our money, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the one that gives us wealth. He's the one that take wealth of us. He's the one that knows that who deserve to have wealth, and He's the one that knows that who do not deserve to have the wealth. You know, and having wealth, having the money, and being rich, this does not mean that we are beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this was the case, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the most richest, the most money to Qarun? إن قارون كان من قوم موسى فبغى عليهم وآتيناه من الكنوز ما عند مفاتيح لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة. That just the keys to his treasures, alright, a whole Jumaat, a whole group used to carry the keys. That's how much treasures he had. So much wealth. And because of his wealth, he deviated, he went against Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, which was his cousin. And then Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. He got angry, he put all the treasure on his head and said, go down to the earth. He's still going down. So, what I'm trying to say, having wealth or not having wealth, if we have wealth, it doesn't mean that we are beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could be because we are beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why He given us wealth. Or not having wealth, it doesn't mean that we are hated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It could be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like us. Or it could be that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to elevate His rank. Look at the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam is rich. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam is rich. They're the kings who rule on the whole world. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam is one of the Nabi who ruled on everyone, on the jinnats, on everyone. Alright, he had control on everything. Yeah, that's how much kingdom he had. He was the richest. But look at our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the poor, and he favored being poor. It's not that he didn't have the choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a choice, said, you, if you want, I can change all these mountains, in the mountains around Mecca, in all what gold. But Rasulullah says, no. I want to die as a faqir, Rasulullah says. And this mizaj, this nature, this tabiyat, was not just Rasulullah, it went on to the wives of Rasulullah too. They preferred this too. Rasulullah used to give the nafaka, the expenses for the whole year in one go. All in one go. Could we give? It is not that Rasulullah was poor too. He preferred this. Show me one ruler who has sacrificed 100 camels in one go for the sake of Allah. In Hajjatul Wida, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that Ali bring 100 camels. I'm going to sacrifice 100 camels, slaughter 100 camels. Hazrat Ali brought 100 camels. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his own bare hands. That's how strong Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. He slaughtered 63 camels and left the rest to Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala. So this is how much richness he could have had. This is just an example. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not poor. He preferred being poor. Then when he passed away, he didn't have anything. He owed money. But this is what the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, that being rich or being poor, this is not a miyar, a criteria that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you or hates you. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you wealth, gives us wealth, we have to cherish it. And we have to know this is a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then fulfill the right of the wealth. One of the rights of the wealth is that we have to give zakat properly. What are the messiahs of zakat? In the next few weeks, I'm going to explain this, inshallah ta'ala. Giving wealth, giving zakat, what's the hukum of that? Not giving wealth, what's the hukum of that? How do we give zakat? What is the proper way of giving zakat? In the next few weeks, inshallah ta'ala, I will be explaining that. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى